Hi all, welcome back to BRR Knowledge Center. In the last session, we have discussed about constant variables and read-only variables. So as I mentioned, constant variables are constant throughout the program, right? And read-only variables can be changed via constructors as well as while you're declaring a variable. So constant variables can't be changed, right? But read-only variables can be changed while instantiating your class, right? By just passing the parameters, right? And when it comes to next topic is dynamic keyword. So this dynamic keyword was introduced in C Sharp 4.0 as a new data type in the C Sharp, right? So it is used to avoid the compile time checking. That means when you write a program and once you finish that, and when you compile your program, right, the CLR is going to validate the compiler, right, sorry, the CLR is going to validate your program before it converts to MSIL stuff. That means it will start now running your program line by line and it checks the syntax, right? And the kind of variables you have been used, and then it compiles to MSIL stuff. So to avoid some of the code you want to skip in the compile time, right? To compile a large program. Let us look and take an example. You have some huge program or complex program, which basically takes so much of time for the compilation. And then now you decided to reduce the compilation time by just using a dynamic keyword usage. What it will do is using dynamic keyword related code is not going to be validated at compile time. That means it is basically stops checking of the data types and other logics which you have been used using dynamic keyword. Got it? So the compiler does not check the type of the dynamic key variables at compile time, right? Instead of this, the compiler gets the type at runtime. That means based on the value you are going to assign it, it is going to give that relevant data type. Got it? So basically it used it for dynamic programming. So basically we have two type of programs in C Sharp: static program, dynamic program. Static program means you are fully aware of what you need and what you are going to write, before you put your hand or start typing of a program into a Visual Studio editor. But when it comes to dynamic programming, you are aware of the program and the requirement, but you are not sure of what values you are going to use it at runtime. That means you are not sure about what type of values or what type of data your program is going to handle it. If that is the situation, you go for using a dynamic. That means it will validate your data and then it will get the relevant data type at runtime. That's what a dynamic. That's what a runtime compilation, runtime validation, and runtime execution part of your dynamic block of code. So let us get started with definition here, right? Uh, Dynamic keyword, right, introduced in C Sharp 4.0. Got it? So this basically used for, it is used to avoid, right, the compile time type checking, right? The compiler does not check the type of the dynamic type variables at compile time. Instead, right, the compiler gets the type, right, at runtime. Got it? An example, you need to use dynamic code as like dynamic, should be small case, okay, right? And then say a number equal to some high. Got it? When you declare like this, your compiler will skip this statement. That means it won't validate whether the num of string or integer or boolean or float or kind of data type. It just skip that. But doing a runtime, when you run your program, so that time it is going to come into the picture and it will pick up the dynamic mark lines of code and it will assign the relevant data type, right? So when I say right, like num dot, got it? it won't give any intelligence facility as it gives for other variables. Let me show you in Visual Studio, like going to here, we show you here, and I'm just taking out of it all stuff, and I'll just remove this stuff, right? Let me look into this. This is dynamic demo, and this is again dynamic demo. I can change this capital letter because I'm saying it is in my Pascal casing. So now here, when I just declare my main method, right? Oh, this can be any name. Now, right, when I say dynamic num equal to hi, this won't throw any error. But when I say num dot, it won't give you any intelligence, method and property because it is not at resolve. It only resolves while it is running at runtime. It is just writing space, right? Even if when you compile it, also it won't give you any intelligence facility. It is not resolved because it is dynamic, right? Dynamic program will only resolve while executing of your program. Got it? So that's why it is not, resolving my code, and it is not giving this intelligence facility stuff. That's why I'm saying when I say num, right, you will not get any intelligence as it will not resolve. It will not resolve it. It will not, or it will resolve at runtime. It will resolve at runtime only. Okay, so when I declare, right, like int num equal to I, same data I'm assigning, but I just change the data type as integer, right? When I say this same stuff, right, definitely you will get compile time error because you are assigning string value to the integer type, right? That is one of the reason, right? You are not aware of the data, but you want to, assign it to some variable. Then you define with the dynamic so that it won't give you any problem, right? When I say this, it is giving a problem for me, right? So that's what I'm telling this, right? So it throws exception while compilation time itself, but we declare using dynamic, right? It won't give, right, compile problem. Got it? That's why when I say dynamic, right, s name equal to Ramna, right? When I like declaring with dynamic keyword, right, it won't give any compile time error because it is a dynamic program. Got it? Let's try a demonstration, right, and see like how we are going to utilize this dynamic program. Let's go back to, right, let me close this. Let's go back to Visual Studio here. And here I'm declaring this stuff, right? Instead of that, what I'll do is, let's say like, that's okay, fine, int num equal to hi. Let me try to, console dot, right? Right line of number, console dot read line. Let me check this. When I run this, right, I should get high, right? Because it is assigning at runtime. Look at here. It won't give you a problem at compile time. At the same time, at runtime, it is dynamically assigning the relevant data type. Got it? And for the same thing, right? I'm just declaring int, right? I is some 50, right? And after that, I declare long L equal to, right, I. So here I'm assigning this I to L. L is bigger than I because L is a long, I is an integer. Integer is 4 bytes, L is 8 bytes, right? It is bigger than integer type, hence it is automatically assigning. Implicit conversion is coming to picture and it is assigning it. Got it? So even if you print that console dot, right, right line of dollar of int, right, I is I, right, and long L equal to L. Let's see what is the result of this. Let me copy this from the top bottom of the section. And look at here, blocking not required, right? Let me say this. What's happening? Let me compile this. Now look at here, right? I think this has to be commented, right? It's running and seeing that it is going to, automatically display I is 50, L is 50. It won't give you a problem because it's automatically converting into a log, right? But when I do a reverse order, let me see that. So instead of this stuff, right? When I say, right, this is integer, sorry, this is long I'm defining as 50, right? Now declaring, right, int I equal to L. What it will do? It will throw you exception because, right, cannot implicitly convert type long to int because it is in higher range value or data type you are assigning it to using I. In that situation, what you have to do is you just declare this as dynamic, right? And just run this program. So it won't give you any problem. It's simply, assigning the data type as a long at runtime and it get printed the values. Got it. So this is what the purpose of using a dynamic keyword to skip the compilation checking. Got it? So, and again, coming back to our notes, right? Uh, okay. And this is demonstration part done. And coming to here, right? Why we use dynamic, right? In C#. This is what the question everyone is having it. Thing is, in C#, we have several built-in data types, right? String, int, bold, double, datetime, etc. All these are static data types, meaning type checking and type safety and other things are enforced only at compiled, right? It is not advisable to use a dynamic, right? Unless you are integrating with a dynamic language or another framework where types are not known to a compiled. So using static types, you can declare a variable and get finish your program basically when you are fully aware of what data it is coming out and assigning your variables. But there might be a chance like an external data or external assembly or external program you are integrating into your program and you are not sure about external program is going to return data with kind of a built-in data type. At that time, you should declare a variable with a dynamic and you assign that external program response to your dynamic variable. Got it? So that's what the main reason is, right? We have several built-in data types such as string, int, bold, double, and datetime. All these are static data types. That means everything is checking, right? Safety or no, and checking compilation syntax in enforced it compile run. But runtime it won't get it. Hence, we should go with dynamic keyword, right? I hope you understand the demonstration of dynamic and the purpose of this dynamic keyword. Thank you. Thanks for listening to this video and please subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you.